what did I expect? I mean, it's an average Euro 7-seater. Was I expecting luxury and comfort? Hey, at least I got a cup holder, right? Well, I've got another extremely hot day today. Well, hot for us anyway. And I have this design masterpiece from Citroen. I can't believe I used design masterpiece and Citroen in the same sentence. The C4 Picasso. Well, let's see what it's all about. Well, if you've got less than £3 to spend and you need a 7-seater, there's only really two options. This, the C4 Picasso, and the Zafira. And although I hate French cars, and that's no secret to most people that know me, I'd rather own this than burn to death in a Zafira. Of course, that doesn't mean I would find it an enjoyable experience. This one's a 2008 VTR Plus with a 1.6 litre 4-cylinder petrol engine, similar to what you'd see in the Zara or the Saxo. This engine, just like the 5-speed manual gearbox, is getting more than a little long in the tooth by now. But I guess you still get 45 to the gallon if you're careful, so can I really argue? They do say beauty is in the eye of the beholder, but I think unlike the artist this car is named after, I doubt very much people will be singing this thing's praises when it's long gone in the scrapyard. I certainly won't. And if you thought the outside was weird and ugly designed, oh, you haven't seen the inside yet. Just you wait till I show you that. So one thing this thing's really got going for it is the full flat seating system. As you can see, you got a fair amount of luggage space in it. And then you want to put the seats up. And that's where things go a little bit wrong. So you pull that piece over there, you pull this piece back, you lift the seat up and click. There you go, one seat. And repeat for the other side. Now I'm sure you can see the problem, same as I can. Your luggage space is completely gone. These don't quite touch the back door, but near enough. So okay, you've got the seats in that position, but you don't want them anymore. Lift this piece up here, there's actually a bit of storage space underneath, which is quite nice, and it applies on both sides. But the space is completely gone when you fold the seat. Well, near enough. You grab the red tab at the bottom, and the whole seat folds away. And do the same thing on this side for this one. If I can grab it, and your seat's gone. Then you can cover it over. Yeah. Wait a minute while I figure this out. There we go. That's kind of nice. You want the footwell to disappear, you can drop these down as well. Nice enough. Except for the fact they're not spring-loaded. So when you put them up, you have to do this weird kind of grab and push thing. It would have been nice to just have them spring-load click. It would have been a lot easier. Alright, so other interesting things. 12-volt socket right here. No idea if it still works. No idea at all. And here's one for you. The little interior light turns out to be a rechargeable torch that is very dull. Still works. Nice design feature. Nice design feature. Too bad most of these are missing in the second-hand cars. This one, luckily, still has its one. Okay, so the seat system on these things is a little bit different than I'm used to. I pull the lever at the top, and this bottom section folds up the way. Look at that. Yeah, right, that's interesting. Not a design philosophy I've seen before, but then again, you know, every time I do a car, there's always something about it that's interesting. So, there's a little red pull tab right at the bottom here. But only if the seat is in this position does it work. You pull the tab, and the whole seat folds flat. You know, I'll give them that, that's not too bad. So, does the middle seat do the same thing? Well, you pull the tab on the side, the grey one, and the whole seat folds flat as well. Oh. Okay, I'm kind of in. I can't get my feet in. Alright. I have no legroom back here whatsoever. Alright, that's a lie. I've got some. So what about these door cards then? Well,
I mean, there's lots of different colors and patterns of material going on here. It still manages to come across as cheap. Yeah, French, what can you do, you know? Does have a bottom door pocket. The speaker looks a little small, probably not very good. The chrome trim around here is not too bad, and it's not like it looks plain overall. Plus a nice little function here of having the little nets, if I can get it to fit. I think you're supposed to do it from the inside, but it clips okay nonetheless. Yeah, not bad. It's a bit different. Well, we've got weird storage pockets here on the side of the door pillar. I can't think of anyone else that did that. You got your usual net down here, but interestingly you also get a small table with a cup holder built in, and some kind of, I'm guessing that's a storage for a mobile phone or something. Yeah. The legroom's pretty good. I can't argue, you know. For 7-seaters I've seen much worse, legroom wise. Just the seats are awful. They're not comfortable, they're not nice. This is a typical Citroen problem that I saw, particularly in the Berlingo or Peugeot Partner or whatever you want to call it. This has exactly the same problem with the seats. They're cloth, they feel like they're hard wearing but not very comfortable at all. And I don't think they do your back any favors. So, front door pockets, matching aesthetic, well, mostly. The electric window switches are typical French things, I guess. But the door pocket's a good size, so I can't go wrong with that. You would expect this here to be light controls, right? Wrong. That's the climate control. What's it doing here? Just why? For control freaks or something, I'm guessing. Anyway, the wipers, at least they're in the usual place on the stock. The indicators are also on a usual place on the stock. That's something. The steering wheel though, look at this. The steering wheel turns, but the center does not. The center is fixed. That kind of takes a bit of getting used to when you drive this thing. Also, the button placement is, well, you know, nothing wrong with it. It's just the way the buttons are shaped. It's all a bit odd. Alright, let's take a look down here. What is this? There's no center console down here. Citroen being so cheap, they just stuck a bit of plastic to the floor and said, that'll do. Alright, it's got 12-volt sockets in it, but why the hell is it all the way down there? It's supposed to be up about here or something. It makes no sense. You could have had a nice usable storage box or something in there, but they ruined it by putting this piece of plastic on the floor. I think the French designers took one look at the dash and said, look, we've created something beautiful, minimalistic and stylish or something. And then they went, oh, we forgot the gear stick. Well, we'll just stick that on there. Honestly, it looks like it's just been stuck on as an afterthought. Yeah, we'll just shove this add-on right here and put the gear stick on it. I mean, this is the perfect opportunity for you to take away this horrible bit of cheap plastic, build a proper center console in here, and mount the gear selection system on that, instead of mounting it halfway up the dashboard on a bit you just tacked on afterwards. Dumbasses. Well, I'll give them that. The storage system is unique to French cars, I guess. You get a big storage system above the steering wheel. Not many other companies do that. And you get another one on the passenger side. I mean, you know, they're an odd shape and they're quite limited what you can put in them, but yeah, useful. How about the glove box itself? Well, that would explain why it has the extra storage areas on top of the dash. There's not a lot of space in here. See if they took away these funny looking pockets though and just made it flat door, there'd be more space. I don't know. The design philosophy of this car is just surprising me more and more in a negative way every time I open something. Okay, so I get in and I'm looking for the climate controls. And I haven't figured out they're over here where the lights should be yet. Ugh. So I'm looking at this bit in the center and I'm going, what is this then? Oh. It's the crappiest stereo you've ever seen. Why is that here? It's not even a double-din slot, so even if you want to upgrade this thing to a DVD unit or something, you know, for the kids, with it being a 7-seater and all, you can't. You can't even have a motorized drive panel without removing this stupid cover. Because the motorized drive panel would come up and hit off it and block the vents. This is the worst design ever. Alright, maybe I'm being a little melodramatic here, but come on, Citroen, what are you doing? In this giant desert that is the glass screen on a Picasso, the mirror is mounted straight in the center, all out on its own, all lonely and such. Let's look at another weird, odd thing about the Picassos. You might notice that up here where the sun visors are, one is forward, one is back. Why is that? Why are they different sizes? Well, as it turns out, they're fully adjustable. You can put one or the other forward and back to cover the panel roof. I mean, it's a nice, easy solution to a problem that they created by having the panoramic roof. Okay, nice. So you create a problem by having a panel roof, and then you fix it by inventing a new solution that you didn't need in the first place. Okay. Lighting on this car is adequate, I guess. You know, you get a front, you get a middle, and you get a rear. They're not particularly impressive, they're not particularly exciting, but they're still better than Nissan. So, with there being a storage area right above the steering wheel, so you can't have an instrument cluster, how do they get around this? Well, they put all the indicator buttons and all that just up here above the steering wheel. And the lights and everything, which is strange. But the instrument cluster itself is in the center. Yeah, okay. What's the design cues here? Little round LCD bars. Yeah, I'm sure that would have been exciting in the early 90s, but now it's just kind of drab and... What are these colors? Well, we're at that point where I get to discuss comfort for creatures. Or creature comforts, depending on how you want to say it. Did I mention you get an armrest? That's kind of handy. Did I mention the center console is inset quite a bit to stop glare, but it also makes a really good place to stick your phone. Well, I mentioned it now. The seat itself is a bit Peugeot partnery, I guess, or just like the Berlingo, it doesn't feel right. Feels like it'd put your back in bits if you tried to drive this thing more than a couple of 100 miles. That's kind of sad. Let me see, is there any lumbar support controls on this seat? No, of course there isn't. You have to live with it as it is. Oh yeah, I'm not driving no taxi today. I need myself a seat belt. Alright. Oh, why is the seatbelt buckle all the way down there? You just... Right. The weirdness is not over yet. I must put my foot firmly on the brake, otherwise it will not release the parking brake. And it takes ages. There you go. Then it tells you on the screen handily, you know, you don't have a parking brake anymore. Oh, gotta get used to this. I totally expected this to be either the 2-liter or the 1.6 HDI when I first looked at it. But as it turns out, as I mentioned earlier, it's the petrol, which is not what I thought I was going to get. And it actually sounds okay as an engine, you know. I mean, I'm sure it's the one that was in the Zara and the Saxo, I think. So it's actually got a reasonable sound to it. Sometimes when you're driving along, you actually forget you're, you know, driving a giant 7-seater. But not for long. You get brought back down to earth pretty fast in this thing. And that's just what this thing isn't, fast. Yeah, come on. There we go. It makes a lot of noise, but it doesn't really do anything. I mean, I remember this gearbox really well from the Berlingos. and I never liked them. I really hated them. This is at least better than that. One of the good things about the Picasso is the viewing range. The front panel roof window is kind of huge, you know? The pillars have been split in half to give you extra visibility. The windows at the side are fairly large. The back window is enormous as well, and is shaped in such a way as it's very easy to see what's going on. So I've got to give it credit for that. It's smooth enough on the road, but like I say, it lacks a great deal in performance. The 2-litre HDI would probably help with that. But that would just make it average, that wouldn't make it exciting. I mean, the brakes are adequate for what you're doing. The handling is it's a bit wallowy, it's a bit seasick, boat day out kind of thing. But, you know, I've experienced worse. It's acceptable, it'll do. Surprisingly enough, for a 2008 with 120,000 miles, and more importantly being French, it's not completely broken. The aircon still works. All the seat controls still work. The steering wheel hasn't disintegrated. These are all miracles. Part miracle in the fact that I give French cars a harder time than I normally should, and the owners do look after this one.
I guess in summary there's one positive. You're less likely to die in a burning car wreck in this than you are in a Zafira. But if you can afford anything better at all, you really should take it. I've already reviewed the Citroen. That particular model was a fairly new one, but the older ones weren't much different. The Galaxy is not ideal either, but it's still better than this. In fact, a couple of extra £1,000 and you could have an import vehicle from Japan. And that means lower mileage, better condition, and generally less problems for the first couple of years of ownership. It would just make sense. All I can say really is, don't buy these unless you absolutely have to. That's it today for the Picasso. Since I talked about imports, here's some lovely videos of imports that I did a little while ago. There's more coming, and until next time, look after yourselves.